trying to make it all make sense.
The
More.
You
No.
Podcast.
So the other day you were talking about the Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, so basically what's been going on in, I think Disney and Sony have finally come to a standstill on this at the moment, but they've been arguing over the rights to Spider-Man, because Sony technically currently owns the rights to Spider-Man in the movies, while Marvel...
And was that since the Tobey Maguire movies?
Yes. That was when it started. Basically, back in the late 90s, Marvel was digging themselves out of the hole of near bankruptcy. And Sony came to them with a proposition saying that they wanted the rights to Spider-Man. And Marvel, realizing how important Spider-Man was, were like, no, we'll give you these other schmucks, this Iron Man, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Thor guy. We'll give them all to you. Basically, they say they give them the entire Avengers for $25 million. All rights to them. And Sony is like, forget that. There's nobody likes any of the other Marvel characters except for Spider-Man. So Marvel finally broke down and gave them the movie rights and merchandising rights, for $7 million.
Interesting.
And Sony kind of realizes their mistake nowadays when the first Avengers movie hits. They could have had the rights to all of them.
And Black Panther was also one of the biggest.
Yeah, and to put that into perspective, they were going to sell all the Avengers for $25 million. Black Panther made over that in the first few hours of his movie being released.
You could consider that a mistake.
Later on down the line, Sony needed to re-dig themselves out of a hole. So they said to Marvel, okay, we'll sell you the merchandising rights to Spider-Man, so you'll get all the money for all Spider-Man merchandise. We get to keep the movie rights to him, though. And Marvel agreed to that, so they already got back some of the...
They technically got a return, kind of.
Yeah, and so later on when Disney bought Marvel, one of the agreements with Sony is they're allowed to use Spider-Man in the MCU with the Avengers and all that, but they are not allowed to make solo Spider-Man movies. That is only on Sony's standpoint. So that's the reason.
So Homecoming, Into the Spider-Verse, all those.
Yes. So that was the reason there was the Tobey Maguire ones, the Amazing Spider-Man ones later on, and with things like Homecoming, Far From Home, and Into the Spider-Verse.
Which I think are some of the best they've ever made, if not the best.
Yeah, and because of that, that's the reason Sony's not wanting to budge on giving them the rights back. And so Disney's been trying to kind of make a deal with them, so is Marvel, and neither side is really budging. But that's kind of the thing. Neither side really needs to budge. They're kind of at a good standstill right now, because Sony's doing quite well right now with just with the movie deal, since Into the Spider-Verse is being awarded an Emmy or is in the running for
Oscar.
Yeah, and
they're making great movies.
Yes,
honestly, they're making the best Spider-Man movies, and his role is way better than it is in the Avengers. It's really insignificant in comparison.
Yeah, and what makes it good on Disney's standpoint is, so back in 2011, Marvel released how much they made from the merchandising alone. They made $1.3 billion.
From all the movie merchandising from the Sony movies they made?
From just merchandise in general, all the toys that they can make.
Which is still effectively being taken from the movies, because the movies are drawing those people in and effectively marketing it.
Yeah, and that is more than any other superhero. Period. on both Marvel or DC. Batman, Superman, Avengers. Spider-Man is probably the most lucrative superhero of all time.
Yeah, $1 billion is a lot of money in merchandising.
I hope this talk makes a positive impact in your life. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening or watching it. Check out other episodes, leave a review, and follow us on social media at More You Know Pod. Also, please don't forget about our sweepstakes. Retweet a clip with the hashtag The More You Know and New Podcast from our Twitter for a chance to win a signed copy of my upcoming book, The More You Know, coming this fall. Tag 2 friends in the comments on a clip on Instagram for a chance to win a brand new copy of Dean Graziosi's Millionaire Mindset or Ed Milet's Max Out. Like us or share a clip on Facebook for a chance to win a book I have read that highly inspired me, signed by me with an inspirational message. Again, thank you for listening as we propel with podcasting through the More You Know.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
The
More
You
No
Podcast.